It is time to review Star Wars The Force Awakens, but before I do so, I must avoid being seduced by the dark side of the Force. I must avoid fanboy convictions, anything that may seem like a hyperbole, things that may make me sound like I'm saying things that don't make sense. I must keep myself contained and calm. May the Force be with us all. I am young Jedi John Maffio, and let us begin our review of Star Wars. Episode 7, The Force Awakens. Hello everybody! Welcome to MaffmanJones Movie Reviews. I'm your host John Maffio, and today's featured movie is Star Wars The Force Awakens. It's directed by franchise reinvigorator J.J. Abrams. The film stars Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher as the elders, but newcomers include Daisy Ridley, John Boyega, Oscar Isaac, and Adam Driver, among others. The story takes place 30 years after the events of The Return of the Jedi, and not to spoil things because this movie is one of the most hypersensitive spoiler movies in quite some time, but turns out that Rey is this character who's been looking for something, and Finn is a stormtrooper who doesn't quite fit in, and he's trying to look for something in himself. Now, these two characters somehow collide, and they meet up with Han Solo and Chewbacca, and they are also all looking for something. What are they looking for? It's an important aspect of the movie, but I'm not going to tell you. There is something to the core of this film that drives the plot, and it's a simple story, kind of like A New Hope. Chapters are closed, but new chapters are also open, and this is a beautiful reinvigoration of the Star Wars franchise. It is really good. It takes a franchise that basically went down in the dumps for a while because of the prequels, even though some people actually like those movies, and nothing against you if you do, but those films put Star Wars in the gutter for a while. This movie's job was to just make people believe in that magic again, and guess what? Star Wars The Force Awakens brings that magic again in so many different ways. The heart was in the absolute right place for what it wanted to achieve when it comes to audiences and recapturing something that has been lost for a long time. It certainly does that in spades. The movie is very fast-paced, and that's great, but it's also bad because sometimes scenes are moving a little too quickly, and when you're starting to get interested in certain scenes, we move on to the next scene, and it's like, I kind of want to spend more time in those scenes. But that's not a bad thing, because I'll get into it later. Characters are A1 fantastic. Also, a lot of things are left unresolved, and obviously this is in due to the fact that they're continuing the story. They are planning a trilogy with this. It's more or less like a trilogy is happening for sure. With the older trilogy, with the original trilogy, it wasn't assured that it would be a trilogy. It was just, okay, this movie was great, so let's keep making them. So they went with their creativity there. With this, we know we're going to get at least 3 more movies, so they're saving a lot of their cards for the future. However, there are little things that I feel like you can't really forgive when it comes to characters, how certain things are resolved, and the way it concludes overall with all the arcs that come align. Certain things do beg the question, could those questions that were asked in this film have been answered in this movie? Was it really necessary to hold back so much? And maybe there were 2 or 3 moments in the film where there was action sequences going on and the CGI wasn't on point. There were a couple moments where I was watching the movie and I'm like, that seems kind of out of place. But a couple moments, that's it. But transitioning into the good, Star Wars The Force Awakens, in my opinion, was a movie that didn't have to be a great film. Would it have been nice to be like a movie that you would show to film students and, you analyze every shot and stuff? Of course, it would be dope. But the movie does have beautiful scenery. Cinematography is, in moments, stellar. But the film is just a simple introduction to a bigger story, and I have to say this now, the new characters that are introduced in this movie create, single-handedly, in my opinion, the strongest aspect of the film. The new characters are so interesting and so full of color and personality. This movie is shrouded in so much secrecy, so I'm trying not to say much, but I'm going to go through them really quick. Rey. She has so much character development in the film. Daisy Ridley, this is their first film. And for a first film, it's quite a way to start. It's like throwing a freaking Hail Mary and getting that and winning a game. It's something else, what she achieves in this movie. She's a new character, she anchors the film, and you believe it. and you buy into her arc, even though certain things that happen with the character are like, whoa, I see what they're doing there. They're saving. Something's going to happen in future movies with her. But she has a great performance. Her arc is amazing, and you buy into what's going on with her character. Finn. I did not expect to like this character as much as I did. I also didn't think that he would have the accent that he did, because I'm so used to hearing him be British that when you hear him in the movies, like, this doesn't sound like him at all. He was amazing. He carries with himself so much charisma, and he brings a lot of the comedy to the movie. He brings so much great chemistry with Rey, because those two were like the main leads in this movie. He does have very interesting elements to his character as well. He comes from a very militaristic place, and without spoiling too much, he doesn't feel right in that place, so he wants to move to a new thing. He wants to try to cling on to something new, and I bought into that. And I just think that there's so many possibilities that they can do with this character in the future, but what we got with him in this film, great. And Poe Dameron, who's played by Oscar Isaac. He is Mr. Manly Man. I love him. The dude is like that really friendly, awesome guy that you meet at a bar and you can just have a conversation with him for days. I love what this character offered to the table as well. Kylo Ren, played by Adam Driver, single-handedly the most surprising aspect, character-wise, of the film. Loved him. He reminded me of Alan Rickman if Professor Snape had a little rage every so often. If you just a lot of highs and lows to a performance, Adam Driver, but you like his story, his motivations, everything that's going on with him. It's a great introduction to a villain, and he's certainly no Darth Vader. Does he look up to Darth Vader? Yes, you know that from the trailers, but he's not like Darth Vader at all. Harrison Ford returns to Han Solo like it's nothing. He is great. Leia, played by Carrie Fisher. She brings a lot of seriousness to the table, and she grounds the movie, but her chemistry with Harrison Ford is just like how it was back in the day, and when you see those two characters on screen together, it really tugs on your heartstrings. It does. And Luke Skywalker, I'm not going to say anything about Luke Skywalker, but there are certain characters who they serve their purpose in the story, but you don't get that much out of them screen time wise. They're there to service a bigger story. And speaking of the story, it's not simple, but a lot of things are going on. A lot of characters are introduced. We're seeing a lot of new things going on, while also seeing some old characters and old locations, so we have that original classic feel. The film feels like an original trilogy film. It retains that classic magic, and that's why I said it brings back and recaptures that magic that people must have had such a great time experiencing 30 plus years ago. And I feel like I was there watching A New Hope for the first time. When you see those a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away words, and then the title crawl, Star Wars, blah, 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 I will never have a moment like that ever again with a movie. And I'm so glad I saw this movie in theaters on opening night, because there'll never be anything like that. We will be getting episodes 8, 9, maybe 10, 11, 12 down the line for as long as we live, but this movie has moments that you will never forget. It's poignant, it's endearing. At moments, if you're a Star Wars fan, you can't help but feel the emotion string out of you, because the movie just invigorates that. It's indicative of the heart and passion that went into the filmmaking of the movie, because you really do understand that there's a lot of pressure on J.J. Abrams and everybody who was involved in the movie to make a special project, and it turned out so phenomenal that it overwhelms you. I don't want to say anything else right now. I just saw the movie 2 hours ago. I'm definitely making a spoiler review, and I feel like I want to make a revised review half a year from now when I think about the film more and reflect on it and watch it 1,000 more times. But just know this, Force Awakens is a special film. Is it a great film? I don't think I could say that. The practical effects, by the way, are incredible. I just want to get that out of there. The film is not perfect, but it gets the job done. The magic is back. Star Wars is back. And oh my god. I didn't expect to get emotional again. I'm trying not to get emotional here. Star Wars has played a big part in my life, and I'm just so relieved, happy, and glad that it's back for good. Again, it's not a perfect movie, but given the circumstances and everything that's been surrounding the movie, everything, I'm giving Force Awakens a 5 out of 5. It's Maffadocious for many different reasons than being an absolute perfect film, because it's not at all. But for what it did. It just spoke to me. It's a special film that's going to potentially start more special things in the future. What do you think of The Force Awakens? Let me know everything about what you thought in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. It helps. And subscribe. That helps too. And check out my Facebook and Twitter in the info box. Follow me and like me and stuff. Coolio. If you want. I'm John Maffio, a.k.a. MaffmanJones. May the Force be with you always. And I'll see you guys next time.